Welcome back to Yarn as a Second Language. It has been a long time since we dropped a video, but we're back. We got a tutorial today. I'm going to show you all how to make these cool hats here, okay? Here's one example here. I actually crocheted two different types of yarn together and added this pom-pom to it. And this one here. And this is the same yarn I'm going to be showing you guys today. Again, add a little pom-pom. So for this tutorial, the only thing you have to know how to do is a chain and a half double crochet. That's all you got to know. And if you don't know how to do that, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to do that because it is a necessity for this pattern. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it. So first things first, let me show you what I'm working with. I am using a 7.0 millimeter size crochet hook because I'm using this Wool Ease yarn right here. And here's the label here. And the thick and quick, and it is recommending to use a 9 millimeter right there, 9 millimeter size hook. That might work better for a lot of you all. I have found that the 7 has worked just fine for me. So it really depends on the crocheter. So I will show you guys how to do this. The first thing you want to do is make a slip knot. And the first thing I'm gonna do is zoom in so you can see everything nice and clear. Move the candle out the way so I don't burn the house down. First thing you're gonna do is make a slip knot, okay? That's how I make mine. There's many ways to do it. Now, when you make your slip knot, you insert your hook and you kind of tighten that up. I like to have about, I don't know, at least 4 inches of a tail to work with. And I'll show you why at the end, okay? Now, the first thing you're gonna do is you're going to make a chain. So for a hat this size, let me zoom back out for you. A hat this size, typically it's going to be about 25 to 27 chains. So I recommend at least doing 25 for the average size head. Despite what my dad says, I do have an average size head and it seems to fit me quite well as most of the adult females. So back to this. So for this tutorial, I am only going to crochet 10, but again, I recommend crocheting at least 25 at the minimum, okay? So we're gonna make our chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, okay? So you have your chain. I'm gonna make it actually 12. So we have our chain right here. So what you're going to do first is you're going to do 5 single crochets, okay? I'm only going to do 3 in this tutorial because I have such a small sample size, but I recommend doing 5 single crochets. And after we do our first row, I will show you why. So for our single crochet, let me get you nice and close here so you see exactly what I'm doing. See where my yarn is moving? You don't want to insert your hook there because that's already being used. You want to insert it into the very next chain right here. So you're going to insert your hook. You're going to yarn your hook over your yarn, pull through. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again and pull through the 2 loops. Boom, you just did a single crochet. And you are going to do that 4 more times. I'm just going to do it 2 more times. So again, you insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, you got 2 loops on your hook, yarn over again, pull through the 2, and you are going to do that 3 more times. I'm going to do it just this one last time, okay? After you do your 5, we're going to do half double crochets all the way down to the beginning of our row. So do a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over, You're going to insert your hook into that next space, the next chain. You're going to yarn over again, pull through. So now this time you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and you're going to pull through all 3 of those loops. And you're going to repeat this in the very next chain. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over again. You got 3 on your loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay? And if you need to see that again, feel free to rewind a couple seconds and watch it as many times as you need. But the only thing you're going to do is repeat that all the way until you get to the end of your row. And I do recommend counting your stitches just so you're not missing any. And also, once we go back to the beginning of our current row, back this way, you'll see why as well. So as you can see, I have one more space here. You want to make sure you do go all the way to the end. Don't be leaving any stitches, any chains. And right here, I always like just give this a little tug, just like that. You don't have to do that, but that's just what I like to do. So right here, you have our work. You can see this side right here is going to look a little thinner because we did our single crochets, and this is going to be a little thicker because we did a thicker stitch with our half double crochet. So once you reach the end of your row, you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. And I need to grab some more yarn. Okay, so you chain 1, you turned your work. Now we are going to work in the back loop. So what is the back loop? The back loop, this is the whole loop. Let me undo my hook here. See this V right here? Get nice and close for you. There's a V right there. Okay, this is your front loop, the one that's closest to you. And this is your back loop, the one that's away from you. So let me get my hook back in there. You're going to do a half double crochet in this back loop only. So you're going to yarn over, do your, let me back up one. So remember where your yarn can move? You don't want to insert your hook there because it's already taken up. You're going to go in that very next one. So there's where your yarn is. Okay, your working yarn. And right here, right there is your next space. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to insert into that space, the back loop. And you're going to just repeat that half double crochet. So you got 3 in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. You're going to repeat that into the next back loop. And you're going to do that until you have 5 stitches remaining in that row, okay? I'm going to do it until I have 3 stitches remaining in that row. And let me stop. You guys continue to work. And if you want to see why, look up. What that is doing is the last 5 stitches are going to be a little bit thinner. So when you do, let me zoom all the way out for you. When you do put your hat together, it's not as thick here at the top. That's all it's really doing. And you can see the thickness starts right about here because there are about 5 stitches. Some of it is underneath the pom-pom where it is thinner. And then your half double crochet is this thick part right here. And how we're getting these ridges, you see how it's thick and then in the middle is thin, then it's thick and then it's thin, is because we're working in the in the back loop. So that's how we're getting that ridge, and that's why we are doing the last 5 stitches as a single crochet. So I'm still continuing my half double crochet, and you might be too, but if you're not, make sure you have 5 stitches left in your row, and that's where you're going to do a single crochet. And it's really handy to do a stitch marker. That way you know for sure where to start your single crochets. But if not, all you have to do is count. So we're gonna have one here. There, I'll use my hook so I can focus. Here, here, and then there is one in here that's really hard to see, but once we get there, you'll be able to see it, okay? And you remember, you're gonna have 5. So in the last 5, you're going to do a single crochet. And remember, a single crochet is just insert your hook into that back loop still. Everything else from here on out is back loop. Yarn over so you have 2 in your hook, then yarn over and pull through both loops. And you can tell you have one more stitch here because it's not quite done, but it may be a little harder to find. So if you just dig your needle around there a little bit, you will find that back loop. Okay? As you can see, there is no place to dig that hook into there, so there are no more spaces. Okay? So once you do your last 5 single crochets, just like we did before, we're just going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work, and we're going to do 5 more single crochets. I'm going to do 3. You are going to do 5. So remember, sorry, I've been moving around a lot. Where that yarn is moving, there's no reason to work in there. You can't. So you're going to go into the next chain. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. And you'll do 5. I'm going to do 3. And this is my 3rd one here. Voila, back loop only. And we're going to continue on with our half double crochet. And that's really the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with the half double crochet. I'm going to zoom out just a little because I feel like we're really close right now. Remember to count your stitches if you need to. You do want to make sure, the beauty about crochet is if you just do everything consistently from the pattern to the stitch tension, then everything will turn out just fine. It's where variation comes into play that kind of makes things look a little wonky. But the way we're doing this today, you will have very straight edges. You just want to make sure, like, this looks like it's done, right? But there's one more stitch right here. You see that right there? Right there. There's one more stitch. If you look at it like this, it almost looks like there's not. So you want to make sure you get that last stitch, okay? And now we're at the end of our row. Just like before, we're going to chain 1, we're going to turn over, and we're going to continue on in the back loop until we have 3 stitches left in our row, and that's where we're going to do our single crochet. Well, 5 stitches for you all. And you can see that ridge has already been created, and that's because we were working in the back loop. So I'm going to go ahead and do the half double crochets in the back loop all the way to the end of the row, and then we will discuss what is next after that. But basically, you are going to continue this pattern to where you are doing half double crochets towards the tail and back. And when you're away from the tail, the last 5 is going to be single crochets. I feel like I've said this a million times and you probably already have it, so I can probably just get through this pretty quickly. I'm quite sure you all know what to do. So I have 1, 2, 3 left, so I'm going to do my single crochets. 1, 2, and remember that hard one. It's there. 3. Okay. Chain 1, turn our work. We're going to do 3 or 5 single crochets. And then we're going to begin our half double crochet. Okay. So this is where I'm going to stop and I'm going to work a little bit. You guys continue to work until you get a circumference of your head. I would like to give you guys a measurement on how long it should be, but honestly, it really depends on the type of yarn you're using. This obviously is going to grow a lot quicker than a thinner yarn. The circumference is going to change because thinner yarn seems to have more stretch to it than this thicker yarn, okay? So honestly, if you know the size of the head that you're going to create for somebody, then just do that. If you don't, just go as long as you feel like you need to, and then just check it around your head. And you want to make sure you check it around your forehead to your ears. And if you want to flap, the 27 rows or 25 rows is usually enough for a flap, or if you don't want to flap, it's enough for a slouchy kind of look. So go ahead and create this pattern for as long as you need to fit whatever head you're making this for. And I'm going to go ahead and just continue on, and I'll show you how to stitch it up. All right, so this is what you should be looking like. And if you're seeing a little bit of a curve at the top and the bottom, that is perfectly okay. You want it to do that. That's going to actually help the shape of the hat. So I went and I worked my last 3 single crochets, and I'm away from the tail. And now we're going to start closing up the hat, and we're going to close it going towards the tail. So what you want to do is you want to kind of fold it like a taco to where the tail is on the other side of you. Okay. That's a little wonky right there. Let me fix that. Okay. You're going to chain 1. I've already chained my 1. And you're going to insert, let me zoom in here for you. You're going to insert your hook into the whole chain on the other side. Okay. There we go. Once you do that, you're going to pull your yarn through both loops, and you're going to chain 1. That chain 1 is the only time we're going to do that, and that's kind of just locking it in place. So next, I like to, you can make a seamless seam by inserting into this front loop, okay? Just a front loop. You can see there's the front and there's the back. And then you're going to insert into the next space on the other side on the back loop. So you insert the back loop, and you'll do the same thing. There we go. Yarn over. You're going to pull through 2 loops and then that last remaining loop. And you're going to repeat that chain by chain until you get to the very end, and I'll show you what's special about that little tail here. All right. So again, front loop, back loop. If I can get that in there. There we go. Yarn over, pull through, and then pull through. You're just going to continue on until you get to the very end of the row. So what we're going to do is I'm going to meet you guys at the end of this row, and I'll show you what to do. A little tip as you're doing this, while you're connecting the sides, you just want to continue to check to make sure it is lined up to where this end will meet at the end, okay? Sometimes you can get a little uneven and you'll start to connect, and you have this little bit of hangover. You don't want that hangover. You want it to be connected evenly. So just want to drop in and give you that little nugget of advice. And I am getting close to the end of our row here. And as grab some more yarn here. As I'm doing this, I'm constantly checking to make sure that I am indeed lined up to where at the end there isn't any of that overhang. All right, so I have one more stitch. And for the last stitch, you're going to insert into that entire, instead of just doing the front loop, you want to insert into that entire chain. So you'll have kind of 2 loops on your hook. And you kind of want to move, I know it's hard to see, but I'm trying my best to show you. You want to kind of pull that chain, and it'll give you a nice little opening for your hook. Okay, and you just want to continue on. You will pull through. All right, so that should be your last chain. All right, so your next step is you can go ahead and cut. Get your scissors here. Zoom out. Go ahead and cut. You don't need a big long tail, about the same as your original tail. And once you cut that, just loop that and just pull that through and just tighten it down. Now, what's special about this other tail that we've been working with this whole time? This is just a personal preference, I like to just make a knot, okay? And just tighten that down really good. It's just an extra sense of security. And once we're done, we will go ahead and just take our needle and thread this through. But we're not there yet. We have this hole at the top here. We can't have a hole like that at the top of our hat. So you can see it is starting to take shape. The reason it was curving, remember I told you it'll work out, and it's gonna give you that nice little curve at the top of your hat. That's what you want. So your next step is you're going to grab your yarn and you're going to get a pretty long tail. For a normal size hat, you probably want to get at least 1.5 feet to 2 feet. This little guy's small, so I'm just gonna grab about, I don't know, how long is that? Maybe a foot. You can go ahead and cut. Now you want to take your needle, you want to thread your yarn through the needle. It can be a little difficult with thicker yarn, but it will go through eventually. All right, so we have these nice, let me zoom in a little for you. We have these nice spaces here and here and here at the top. And that's where we're gonna insert our needle. So you're just gonna insert, kind of pull through a little bit. And you're gonna come in through this other side, through the next space. And you're just gonna kind of weave in and out. There is no exact spot where you have to do it, but I really don't split the yarn. I just, wherever there's a gap or a space, that's kind of where I just insert my hook or my needle. And you're gonna do that until you go all the way back around until you get to where your tail is beginning. And like I said, there's no wrong or right spot to do this. You just want to make sure it's at near the top of your hat here. And if you do happen to split some yarn, that's no big deal, because our next step is we're going to tighten this thing down really, really tight. So it will not matter. I am about at the end. I got a couple more here to go. Trying to stay in frame, but I keep moving. I'm moving a lot. I don't mean to. I'm trying to keep everything so you can see. All right. So I'm just gonna pull this through right here. And now you can see where the two meet. We can go ahead and take our needle off the yarn. You want to give that a, let me zoom out so you can see it all. Just give it a good tug. There you go. Okay. So now go ahead and make a knot like you're tying a shoe. And when you do that, you want to pull it pretty tight. Okay. Give it some good tension. Make a couple of knots. There's one. There's two. So this is the inside of the hat. So if you're thinking, well, I don't really like this little mushroom it's got going on, that's okay. This is the inside part of the hat. At this point, I've got quite a bit of tail left, so I'm just gonna cut it about halfway. And the only thing you have to do here is insert your yarn into your needle here and just thread it through. Here, I'll go ahead and show you. It just takes a second. So same thing, we're going to thread our yarn and our needle. And since this is the inside part of your hat, just kind of, it doesn't have to be really scientific. Let me zoom in for you. Yeah. Just here. Maybe there. We're just kind of working it through. You won't see it on the other side. Once you get through a couple of loops, just pull that all the way through. And then we'll just thread it back the other way in different spots. All right, and that's just gonna lock it in place. And once you do that, twice is usually good enough. You can cut the rest of that tail off. These scissors are not sharp at all. Just kind of give it a little rub, and voila. You'll do the same with this, and the same with that one. And when you do, zoom out for you. Flip it inside out. This is the outside now. And my son just came in to see what I'm doing. And voila, you have your hat. Hold on. Okay, here. So this is the hat. You can add a pom-pom to it if you'd like, or you can just leave it without it. Either way, it looks really good. Okay, hold on, buddy. And if you made it long enough, you can just kind of flip that brim, and that's how you get this look right here. Okay? So that's how you do this hat. It's super easy. It is beginner friendly. I thank you guys for watching. If this helped you out, please hit that thumbs up button and consider subscribing to the channel. And also, if you'd like to send me pictures of the hats that you all make, send it to me. I'd love to see them. You can reach me at yarnasasecondlanguage@gmail.com. And yeah, I appreciate you guys, and be looking out for more videos in the future. And I'll see you then. Adios.